I think we're good. I think we're up and running. Hot dog. All right, so welcome. It's Monday Soul Deliciousness, guys. It is almost the end of June, which is insane to me. I was looking through my calendar and already was thinking, oh my gosh, I feel like summer's flying by and school's going to start. And have I done everything that I want to do over the summer? Okay, so we're going to talk about something really amazing tonight. And oh my goodness. I can't find you live, probably because I started a little bit late. So hopefully that will be taken care of. All right. So I think I'm all set up here. We're going to talk about mindset because it's so important. And I'm going to say wow, guys, it's one of the underlying issues for so many things in your ability to change where you're at. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm going to give you a second to hop on, get your notification. Also, just as a reminder, if you want to make sure that you don't miss these, the easiest thing to do, and I broadcast this on Facebook, Instagram, and also YouTube Live. So if you can't find it, the easiest thing to do is just to make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, because it will send you a notification that I created a new video. And that's the easiest way to get notified that I did a new video. Okay. So let's do it. Let's rock this. So subscribe there. That's the easiest. Go to YouTube. Otherwise, they are on my page here, but of course they get lost after I post things. So they're all got away. Okay. First of all, let's talk about happy things, because we're going to surround ourselves with so much positivity tonight. And so I want to tell you just some of the silly things that I do to bring myself to a higher level. Okay, so I'm all about silly, crazy things. And Tayson came in a minute ago and he was staring at my hair. And I'm like, dude, check these out. So, of course, he's looking at me like he thinks they're totally cool because they are, they look like horns or something, right? So look at these cool things. Anyways, I got them at Etsy. They're handmade and they're like hairpins. I have no idea how to wear hairpins, but I was like, I'm going to stick these suckers in. They have crows on them, so I had to have them. Also, I'm going to share with you my other little treasure that I got today. So I love Rae Dunn, obviously. That's what all this stuff is back here. You guys, I got a cherry mug. I love cherries, okay? I mean, how freaking cute is that? Cherry mug. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's a little bit of my Catherine, I will message you the link to subscribe to YouTube after we are finished with this. Absolutely. Okay. Guys, there are moments where I have to sit with myself because I am a human being, and I, of course, have moments just like you do where I sit and I'm like, and I have self-doubt because it just creeps. It does. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could find me someone that could tell me that they never have any self-doubt whatsoever, but I don't think it's humanly possible. So beautiful moment I'm going to share with you. So I was at Walmart on Saturday, at Walmart on Saturday. We were just getting ready to go camping and I really needed it. I was going to go and do some real good energy clearing for myself, some real good grounding. And I was standing in the checkout at Walmart and this beautiful soul came up behind me and started like talking and just telling me how thankful she was for me. And it was like so heartwarming. And I just I have to tell you, she messaged me later and was like, I didn't know if I should talk to you, but I'm glad I did. It was so emotionally uplifting for me because there are times where I spend so much energy on my clients and of course I just want everyone to get better and I want everyone to be at their best and I want everyone to heal and I want everyone to be happy. And the reality is we're all at different spaces in our lives. So sometimes some people do a session with me and it's like boom, bang, bada bing, and off they go. And sometimes, you know, I have clients that we work on things progressively, but it was just so great because she said to me that her session, she only did one session. So far, she said her session totally changed her. And I'm like, that is fantastic. So that's why I hop on here, because I want to give you some things that can help to switch your mindset or your way of life, even without doing a session yourself. So I'm going to tell you this really cool thing that I did over the weekend. We went camping. We have this beautiful lot, and on the very back of the lot, it overlooks, so it's really high up on the mountain. It overlooks the rest of the mountain. And I got up way before everybody else, thanks to my dog. And I decided that I was going to go out and I'm going to do I call this a power download. Basically, people refer to this as all kinds of different things, but for me, I just like to think of it as a download. So I'm out there, I've got a book and I'm just writing and I'm working on my practitioner course that I'm creating, and I'm just downloading all this beautiful energy, and it's just flowing, and the sun is rising up over the mountain, and it's just, so the sun is rising up behind me, and so I can see it as it's coming up, like it's starting to hit and lighten the mountain across from me. And it is so amazing, like just energetically amazing. And I just sat there and grounded myself. And it was so awesome because my dogs were with me, and there was this beautiful bird. Dave looked up what it was called, and I can't remember, but this beautiful bird with a red head and a yellow body landed on this bush right next to my chocolate lab. And I just feel like my dogs were in the energy moment with me too. And I was like, don't eat the bird. And the bird sat there, and my dog just allowed it and just looked at it. And it was just this like super enlightening moment. Now, I'm telling you this because sometimes we don't realize the things that getting in connection or balancing ourselves out, or when we do things, we don't really recognize the immediate changes that have happened with us. So obviously I'm doing this power download. I'm getting all this beautiful impression of things that I should do. And so I'm jotting this down. I'm literally I wrote all over the back of a book that I had. But it wasn't until today, so this was on Sunday morning, it wasn't until this morning that I really recognized what was one of the things that I cleared some energy from. And it actually started this morning, but I would not have recognized it until I got to work. And then I was like, aha, I obviously had a block. So when I went to leave this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, it seriously smells like something has died in my trash. And I don't recall putting anything in there that would create the stench that I was smelling. It was so overwhelming. So before I went to work, I'm like grabbing the trash and taking it outside, and I'm not really thinking anything of it. And I get to work, and I work in a food manufacturing facility. And just like immediately upon getting out of my truck and walking toward the building, I'm like, oh, it smells so divine today. And then as I get closer into the building, I'm like, oh, it smells like fresh pastries, like fresh baking pastries. And it smells so good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this just beautifulness. And then I'm walking towards my office, and I'm like, oh, it smells so good, like cheddar crackers. And I mean, the scent is just overwhelming me. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like my senses are on like this heightened level, right? And then I get to my office, and a couple hours go by, and everywhere I go, like I am just picking up like these beautiful smells, even though I'm like, I don't even know what that's from. I can just smell these amazing smells, and I even have a mask on. And so at one point, as I got back to my office and sat for a minute, I was like, la-di-da-di-da, right? I realized what had happened. Something that I worked on myself on Sunday morning was creating a block for one of my sensory systems. And so my sense of smell from releasing things had become very enlightened and very just on a higher level. And so I was smelling things that I normally wouldn't recognize. And it was honestly just, I mean, once I got past the trash, it was honestly just delicious. And I was like, man, I haven't recognized the smells at work like this for a long time. I promise some of that's probably just me getting accustomed to it, but it was just warm cookies and cheddar crackers. I mean, delicious. Okay. So I had to tell you about that because it was really cool. All right. Let's talk about your mindset. You're going to have a little bit of a conversation with yourself, and it may not be a really pretty one, but that's okay because I want you to stop being afraid of talking to yourself. There is no one in the entire world that your brain listens to more than you. And that's kind of something you got to let yourself meditate and marinate. I like to use the word marinate. Let yourself marinate with that for a second. Because if I were to have asked you, who do you think you listen to more than anyone else when it comes to whose opinion, whose advice you listen to, you're going to pick someone else. You're going to pick your mom. You're going to pick your sister. You're going to pick whatever, your best friend, your spouse, whoever that is for you. But you probably didn't think about yourself. And unfortunately, we don't think about ourselves, but that is who our brain listens to the most, is these internal conversations that we're having all the time. And so that's really important to think about for a minute and wrap your head around as we go through this, because you listen to exactly what you say and you believe it. So I want you to think about and have this honest conversation with yourself. So don't be afraid to talk to yourself, guys. You need to be able to have an inner conversation and an inner dialogue with yourself without having yourself being critical about what you're saying, because that's where your inner conflict is coming from. You start to say something and your upper level ego and your conscious and everything is not playing together. And so you're like, ooh, don't think that. That's horrifying. I had this conversation with my friend today. I was like, sometimes it's really difficult, but when we are in a situation where we're like a caregiver and we're giving 24-hour care to someone for years on end, having a thought in your head of, I wish this person would pass away, is horrifying to you. When in reality, if you would just let yourself think it and realize, wow, you know what? This is a normal thought because I am being so burdened by something that is taking all my energy, but does not mean that I literally want this person to pass away or that I do not love them. Okay. But that's the conversations that you have to be able to have with your inner self if you really want to get down to the deep dive of what the heck is going on with you. So, but most of the time we're really afraid, right? Because when a thought comes into our head like that, we start criticizing. Oh, don't you have a thought like that? Oh, you're an evil person. You have a black heart. I can't believe that you just had that thought. And now you shut yourself down. And so you're listening to yourself and you're like, oh, yeah, I am an evil person. And oh, yeah, I can't believe I did have that thought. And oh, okay, I'll just shut everything down. And then you're not getting any type of communication. You shut down the path that you have to receive intuition, and because you're being so dang critical. So let's have this honest conversation. Don't try to give me the textbook answer. Don't try to tell me what you think I want to hear. I want you to be raw and real, no judgment. What do you think the last thing that you're thinking about is before you go to sleep? Okay, so that's the first one if you want to jot it down, but be honest with yourself. Don't try to tell me something that's like superficial on the surface. I want you to really deep dive, like what, and you don't have to answer or anything, but you're just doing this. Okay, tell me, resonate with yourself. What is it that I think about before I go to bed? Okay. Now, resonate with yourself. The second question, what do you think about the moment? And I'm talking the moment before you even realize that you need to go tinkle. What do you think it is that you first of all think about when you first wake up? Now, here's the kicker. Okay. I want you to think about those two things, and I want you to tell me, are they positive or are they negative? So if the thing that you think about when you go to sleep at night is something that's stressful, something that's negative, you're fretting going to work. You're fretting waking up because you're like, I don't know how I'm going to feel. And maybe you don't even say it like that. You're just affirming right away. You're like, I don't want to go to sleep because I don't want to wake up in the morning because I'm going to feel horrible. I don't want to go to sleep because I know that I'm going to wake up 7 times tonight. Okay, so think about that. So there we go. We go to bed. We have our affirmations set for us because we put it in place. And you guys were really good friends for ourselves. And so we listened to exactly what we said. Oh, bada bang, right? The heavens just opened up, and a lot of you were like, whoa, okay. So if I go to bed with this negative affirmation, I wake up expecting what to have happened? Well, I just told myself I'm expecting that you're going to wake up 7 times tonight. So there's a really high probability that because I just told myself that and gave myself that expectation, I want to be a good friend to myself. So I will therefore wake you up 7 times just to make sure that I did exactly what you wanted me to do. Yay! Right? Good self. Same thing goes with, I'm going to fall asleep. And as I'm laying there, I'm fretting about my day at work. What's going to happen? I'm going to go to sleep. And when I wake up, the moment I wake up, my subconscious is going to be like, wait. Don't forget, you're fretting about work today. And then the whole time I'm getting ready and I'm carrying this negative energy. And you know what? Even if I go to work and I don't mean to, I'm giving off this energy that I am feeling anxious, that I'm fretting work. And guess what, guys? Other people around you can feel that. It's a nonverbal energy field that other people can feel whether they realize it or not. And that's why you're like, woo, that person seems offish. Or, I just feel like I'm picking up something from you, right? Even though I'm not quite sure that I can pin it. So you got to stop doing that. Now, I'll have somebody say, but it's true. If I think about the fact that I have, I don't know, let's just pick something. Let's use an ankle. If I think about the fact that I have severe arthritis in my ankle, and I think about that when I lay down in bed and I'm like, oh, I have severe arthritis in my ankle. It's going to keep me up all night. I know it. And then when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, the first thing that I do is wake up and I feel for it. Where is it? Oh, there it is, right? There's the arthritis in my ankle. Because I'm telling you, that moment, that split little second that you wake up, you're not feeling anything and you're hunting and you're finding. And so choose what you're going to hunt and fight for. So I'm going to go to bed at night and be like, oh, I'm going to relax. I always have something going on during the week that I pick to be excited about. Now, here's the cool thing. Your brain is not really good on understanding different levels of excitement. It doesn't really care. I could be excited about having a cupcake or be excited about Dave taking me on a date, and those two things bring the same register, the same chemicals to create this beautiful feeling. Now, here's the cool thing too. It doesn't even actually have to happen. You can create that chemical release just by thinking about something that makes you happy. You don't actually even have to do it. So for those of you that are like, well, I don't have the ability to go have a cupcake or go on a date or go on a horse ride or go camping, whatever. Focus on something that makes you happy and think about it. And that also elicits the same response. Now, if you're like, I really don't get out, I don't have anything that I can do, I have nothing to be thankful for. That one is really hard for me to wrap my little head around because I've been in some really icky situations. So when someone tries to tell me they have nothing to be thankful for, I have to really tell you that I have a hard time being like, cricket. I don't think I can work with you because I don't even know where to begin to tell you that if you are, first of all, capable of using your phone to get onto a phone call or watching me on Facebook, you probably have electricity and you probably have some kinds of means of taking care of yourself and you're not homeless. So I'm going to say it and it's going to be a little hurtful for some of you. Stop having a pity party for yourself. Okay? Because we've all been through a lot. We've all been through a lot. And I'm the wrong person to talk to about being like, but I blah, 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 blah. You know what? But I did too, you know, and I don't choose to allow the passing of my husband or the death of my daughter or the sexual abuse that I had as a child or my dad being completely physically and mentally toxic to me ruin my life, right? Absolutely not. There is always someone somewhere that is going through worse than what you are. Okay. So change your mindset. If you're like, I don't have anything to be thankful for, then you know what? We should remove you and send you off on a deployment or something. And you should go live in the desert in 150-degree weather without anything to eat and nothing to basically cover you in a sandstorm. That will teach you without any running water or plumbing. That will really give you an idea about maybe you did have something to be thankful for. Okay. So that was kind of a tangent, right? I get on a soapbox because that really irks my soul. All right. So when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, set your intention. Think about something. Okay. What am I excited for this week? And I did this myself this morning. I was like, what do I have going on this week? You guys, my truck finally showed up. So that was like a huge thing for me because I've been waiting since April and I sold my other one and I've been bumming rides off of people. But here's the other thing that I caught myself doing today. I realized that I had been constantly cycling over the thought of when is my truck coming? When is my truck coming? When is my truck coming? And being really stressed out about it. That now that it's here, I sort of felt a little empty this morning. And I had to catch myself because I was like, don't create stress for yourself because you just got rid of this like obnoxious, like, is it coming? Am I even going to get it? What am I doing? And so that's the other thing. Like we love to create this space that feels comfortable for us, even though it feels really yucky, because really yucky spaces can start to feel really comfortable when we get used to that space. When I didn't realize that I had anxiety until after my husband passed away. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I've been living with this my entire life. And I didn't even know what it was. And I didn't realize how yucky I felt and how irritable I was until I got rid of it. Right. But now you have to be careful that you don't go back to that space because that's what you're used to. And even though it's yucky, it feels right. So it's easy to go back, but we're going to go forward. So what am I excited for? And like I said, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't even care. You could be like, I'm going to have a marshmallow when I get home from work. Your brain, if you love marshmallows, your brain will register that as amazing as like you're getting a new cat when you get home from work. Honestly, it really is that simplistic. Pick something. It can be really silly. Sometimes I get excited because I tell myself on Wednesday, I'm going to cook something that I really enjoy. Or even for me, when I make it through this day, I'm having peanut butter bars tonight. I know it. I love it. Sometimes I feel my carpet and I'm like, I feel grateful that I have carpet. Next time you go pee, be thankful you have a toilet. You have toilet paper. Take yourself back to the COVID scare, right? There's lots of things that you can find to be thankful for. So do that. What am I excited for? I wake up in the morning and I'm like, woo, what am I excited for today? I don't even care if you're like, I gotta have a cup of coffee or whatever floats your boat. It can be that simple. I'm excited today because I'm going to wear some cool socks. I'm excited. Love it, Amber. I'm excited about going forward. I'm excited about grateful you have a job. Right, Michelle? Everything. Like when I start to get a little burned out about my job, I'm like, ooh, I'm grateful I have a job. And if you hate your job that much, guys, get a different one. Honestly, you're not limited by anything but yourself. And I know that you're like, oh, that feels scary, right? But you're living in fear. If you hate your job, you're living in fear that you don't get a new one because you don't believe that you're capable of doing it. Point blank simple. It's all about your mindset. Okay. What if you're stuck in this rut and you're like, I can't think or feel positive? Yeah, that's a really not good place to stay, right? Pick something small. And if you're like, but I'm really sick. Okay, great. No one is saying that you're not, and no one is denying you the fact that you're having a hard time and you're struggling and you're emotionally struggling or you're sick or you're ill or your leg is killing you or whatever. No one's telling you that that's not actually the space that you're in, guys. But you will never get out if you continue to think that way. If you continue to think I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm ill, I'm ill, I'm ill, I'm ill, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. It becomes a habit and you just keep telling yourself that. I'm so tired, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. Well, your mind is listening to you. And so it's like, oh, wait, she's tired. Oh, wait, she's tired. So every second your body tries to get you out of that, right? Oh, no, you're tired. Hello, you're tired. You're tired. It's no different than you're fat, you're fat, you're what, right? Okay, you see where I'm going with this. So you got to get those reoccurring thoughts out of your head. Now, if you get to a space where you really are that bad off that you can't think of anything positive at all, reach out to someone, please, and get some help, because that's a really not good place to be. And there are plenty of people out there that will help give you some of their energy to lift you out of that space. And then once you start coming out of the rabbit hole, every day by day by day, you get a little closer to the top, and then you learn how to not fall back in. Okay. It's really easy when we get into that space to start pulling people into the rabbit hole with us. And so just be aware that it can be really hard for other people around you. So if you're reaching out and you're not getting help, make sure that you're actually asking for help and you're not just trying to be a victim. Because nobody deserves to be pulled down the rabbit hole with you. But if you're truly, honestly, sincere, like, I really need some help and I'm willing to listen. That's usually how I know someone's really engaged to get help, is are they listening or are they arguing? Because if I'm not all about helping somebody, if they're just going to sit and argue with me, because then I'm like, okay, you're right. You're right. You just want to be like that. Happy day. Go ahead. I am not going to take you away from your free agency. Okay. So when we say things like, I'm sick, I'm ill, I'm dying, I'm whatever, guys, you're just reaffirming to yourself that that's exactly what you are. So change what you are saying. Change it. Even if you need to include it in there, you can, but add a positive affirmation with it. I don't really feel well, but I'm still going to do my dishes today. See how you offset that? If you need to be like, I don't feel well, but I'm still going to do my dishes today. Give yourself 3 non-negotiable items that you're going to do that day regardless, so that you can start, because you cannot vibrate on a positive level if you're constantly in a negative space. And when you're constantly in a negative space, then you're going to be sick. You're going to be ill. You're going to be yucky. You're going to be full of pathogens. You're going to be, guess what, too? Negative energies love to feed on negative vibrations. So whether you're Christian or you believe in whatever it is you believe in, negative energies, negative entities, negative Harry Potters, whatever you want to call them, I can't remember what we decided they were called, they will attach themselves to you because you're really super tasty. I had someone not too long ago ask me how many entities I have to clear a day. And I was like, pretty 0. And they're like, no way. How do you do that? They must be there and you don't know it. And I was like, all right, lack of ability to believe in yourself. So let me see. No, I don't attract entities because I don't give entities anything to eat. You guys, this is like, cats aren't going to stay at the house if I don't have anything to feed them, right? Entities love guilt, shame, lies, deceit, pettiness, jealousy, all that kind of stuff. Now, do I have times when I know that I'm doing something that I shouldn't? Absolutely. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute. I have to rewind because I'm not thinking positive thoughts about someone else or whatever. And that's how you get stuck with those, is because it totally opens up the door for this. Okay. All right. So think about your mind this way. I want you to think about, what is your GPS set to? Is your GPS set to finding everything that goes wrong with you every single day? Is your GPS set to only see every single pain that you're having, every single symptom that you're having, every single thing that goes wrong every single day of your life? Is that the only thing your GPS is set to? You've got to find something to be passionate about. So one is finding something to be positive about. Find something to find some gratitude for. The fact, if you're like, I can't, I have nothing. Do you have a tongue in your mouth? Can you speak? The ability to communicate is a positive. You guys, there are people that can't talk. Can you hear? That is a positive, something to be thankful for. Can you taste food? That is something to be thankful for. There are people that have all of these things taken away from them, and they still find the way or the means to be happy. So I'm telling you, no, I don't believe it. So find something to be positive for, find something to be grateful. You start the shift. It's starting to shift. Now we got to do the passion. If you're like, okay, so my passion is horse riding and I am paralyzed from the hips down. All right. Totally understand. This is a hurdle, right? So if you don't have something else to be passionate about, what can you still do with your passion? Maybe you used to have the ability to ride a horse and you can still instruct people from a wheelchair, or you can do something social media wise that's associated with equestrians or horses, or you can volunteer at a horse therapy or whatever that is. Your passion increases your energy vibration. So when you do things that you are passionate about, your energy vibration automatically increases. Okay. And so find it. Even when you think about something that you were passionate about, your vibration raises. When I think about being able to help people, I automatically feel that energy. So when I start thinking about, oh, I'm going to do a session for someone, or, oh, I'm going to help someone, or, oh, I'm going to come on here and talk to you guys, my energy vibration already just starts to climb just from thinking about what I am about to do. So even thinking about it can increase that for you. Here's a great thing to think of. Quote, life is reflecting the stress you carry. So now I want you to think about, how am I carrying around my stress? And my life is reflecting that. Is it completely controlling everything that you're doing? Lots of reflections right here. So life is reflecting the stress that you carry. You're reflecting how you feel about you. Others receive this, whether you mean to or not. What are you giving off? So I had somebody once tell me that when they were having people come in for a job interview, that one of the things that they did was they actually found a window where they could see the parking lot and they would watch the candidate walk into the building. And I thought, wow, that is really actually very interesting. And they said, yeah, you can tell a lot by how somebody walks into a building for their job interview. But how many of us have ever really thought about that? I feel like you just don't really put on the show until you get into the doors, right? And that's what this person was telling me, is that you can tell if someone carries themselves with actual real confidence by how they're walking into the building. And I thought that was really cool, because that is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. Now, I had an enlightening moment over the weekend when I went to the water park. As I kind of sat and thought to myself as I was watching Taysom play, I was like, I don't actually know if there has ever been a time in my life, except for this moment right now, where I have sat in a water park and not hated myself. And I thought, if I have accomplished anything in my life, that one right there is really big. I don't even think that I told Dave that. But for the first time in my entire life, I'm including when I was the youngest that I can remember being in a bathing suit. For the first time in my entire life, I did not hate my body. I did not hate my body. And even at one moment when I looked down at my legs, because I really have some super fantastic killer calves, as in size, I mean, they're large. Instead of looking at my calves and being like, man, I absolutely hate my legs, I do not have nice legs, I was like, oh, I have, because my mom had told me this the day before. I don't know how we were talking about legs, but she made a comment about having her grandma Olive's calves. And I was like, I feel like I can inherit larger calves from both sides of my family. And so instead of looking at my legs and being hateful and thinking, ooh, I hate these. Instead, I've looked at them and I was like, no different than if I looked at myself in the mirror and I loved my eyes or whatever. I'm like, whose fantastic genes did I get for these wonderful legs that I have? And I was like, you know what? These legs take me through every single day. And they've been with me for 41 years and they have carried me through so many things. And I'm proud of my legs and whoever's genetics these calves came from, my grandma Olive, my grandma Ruthie, I don't know, but it was fine because I looked at myself in a different way. I cherished and valued what my body does for me, which in turn allows me to want to take care of myself. So it's a win-win. I want to be reflecting that I care about other people, that I'm happy and that I like who I am. When I first started on this journey, I was like, ooh, if I love myself though, then I'm really arrogant. No, 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 no. That's not how that works. Because when you truly love yourself, you are able to give that love to other people. Being arrogant means that you pretend that you love yourself. So you do really shady things so that you can feel better about yourself because you really actually don't love yourself. They're not the same thing. You can't love yourself, like honestly love yourself and be arrogant. It's not the way that it works. True love for yourself makes you kind, makes you be able to give love to other people. That's not the same, okay? So let's kind of recap that a little bit. What am I reflecting? What kind of mindset am I putting myself in when I go to bed at night, when I wake up in the morning? Am I focusing on positive? Am I focusing on my passion? Am I focusing on things to be thankful for? Because other people are picking up on those vibrations that I'm bringing myself up to. And now life is a reflection of the stress that I carry. Guys, I just dumped a ton of stress because I am focusing on positive. And I'm going to tell you something that happened with my truck that was just a nightmare and how I worked my way through it in just a second. So now life is reflecting the stress that I'm carrying, and I'm reflecting how I feel about myself to other people, and therefore others are receiving it. And so now that I'm constantly thinking about positivity and I'm thinking about staying in a positive mindset, I am attracting in every aspect of my life positivity in my job, with my peers, with my friends, with my family. When you get into this space, negative people just don't come around. It's really quite phenomenal. I saw and read somebody say something about that, and I didn't really realize it until I cut out the toxic people from my life. I was like, this is really cool because I just don't have negative people associating themselves with me because I have gotten rid of that. And now I am giving off positive and attracting positive. It's okay to be ridiculous and irrational with the things that you're thinking about. So if you're like, the things I'm thinking about that I'm grateful for or my passions seem really out there, guys. You're talking to a lady with sticks in her hair that have crows on them. Ridiculous and irrational is happiness. I'm just telling you. The more you think outside the box and the more you allow yourself that freedom, go back to your inner child and stop spanking yourself every time you decide to giggle, you will be in a much better place. Align yourself with your inner child. Be silly. Love it. If you like little things, if you like to collect trinkets, whatever makes you happy. Like, right? This is my shelf of Zen back here. No one needs to understand it but me. I don't have to explain it to anyone else. I mean, I will if they ask me about it because there's lots of cool things back there. But these are things that I have collected that are knickknacks that are fun for me. Some of it is my overspill from my decorating of my house at certain seasons. Some of it is my Alice in Wonderland because that's connected to my daughter. A Nightmare Before Christmas just because I can. Some see a weed, others see a wish. This is like a poofy dandelion thing that Tayson gave me 3 years ago that I've managed to not die. My Little Ponies from my childhood, little squishy baby. I mean, see where I'm going with that? Ridiculous and irrational brings beautiful things to you. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you how I played this into my own situation, okay? So I had 2 dealerships that were helping me with this deal, and we were all under agreement about me being able to trade my truck in. And then even though my new truck was on order and I couldn't get it and it kept getting delayed, they were like, no, we can still work this out. We're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And it was all about doing my trade and getting my tax credit or whatever. We don't even need to go into the details about this. But when it came down to it, my truck actually showed up. Things didn't get done correctly and lots of miscommunication between people. And so, right, I'm in the middle as the customer and they're like, sorry. And I'm like, what do you mean, sorry? Right? Like I'm the one getting hosed because I'm the one that has to pay this extra money because I lost my tax credit from my trade because I had to wait for my freaking truck to get here. It was delayed forever. The problem is that when I went to order it, nobody knew that there was, in case you don't know, there was this big, huge, and it's still causing problems, big, huge chip shortage. So the chip that creates like all the safety features and all the computer stuff that all these vehicles have nowadays, massive shortage with these chips. And so all of the car dealers have not been able to produce cars like they would. And that's why you're driving by car lots and you don't see hardly any new cars, is because you can't get them. And it has completely jacked up the market. So the other problem is, right, in the day when you went to buy a new car, they were like, what do I need to do to make this work for you? Right? Like how many chickens do I need to throw in the back seat so that you'll take this home and buy it today? I'll give you a free tank of gas and some free popcorn at the movie theater. And the car dealers are all about whining and dining, getting you to buy and whatever it takes, right? And now, because there's no inventory, basically they're like, if you don't want it, walk away. You're not getting a rebate. You're not getting money off the MSRP on the sticker price. You're paying full sticker price or over. This is just like how some of the housing is somewhere where you're paying way over asking price if you want that vehicle. So there wasn't a whole lot of complaining I could do. Like in the good old days, I would have been like, listen here, cowboys, you told me this is what was going to happen and you're going to make it happen. I couldn't really, because they're like, okay, lady, we don't really need your business. We have this truck sold to 25 other people. See ya. And then I've been waiting for 4 months and right, I'm still without a truck and I'm hosed because I can't just go get one anywhere else. So this is what I did. Because, right, how do you change your mindset? Really? Come on. Do I really want to throw away thousands of dollars that I just lost? No. Initially, was I like, I feel sick about this. I can't believe this has happened. I want to throw up in a corner. So this is what I started doing. There was nothing I could do to change the situation. I tried to talk to people. They're like, nope, we can't do it. And I was like, okay, I guess that I'm just going to have to suck it up, buttercup. And so I swear I just heard a man's voice. That's really freaking me out, actually. Anyways, it's probably like, right, I'll go back through the video and see all the orbs and be like, did you guys hear that guy's voice? Anyway, okay. So this is what I did because I knew that I couldn't actually change the situation and I really wasn't going to just let my truck go, even if I had to pay a little more for it out the wazoo. So I started affirming for myself, man, this situation is really painful, but this is going to become less of a mess. See how I didn't lie to myself, right? I didn't be like, get over it, it's fine. I said, no, this situation is painful. I'm acknowledging it. It is painful, guys. It is no different than if you're like, I don't feel good. You're right. Acknowledge it. I don't feel good, but today I'm going to feel better. Do you see what you do? Affirm with yourself, you're right, self. I feel sick, but today, blah, blah, blah. Do it and then reverse it. So this is really painful, but this mess is going to be a lot less. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Don't try to find the solution, okay? That's where people screw this up, is because you do that and then you start focusing on, I got to find the solution. I got to find the solution. I got to find the thing that makes it so I'm not sick anymore. Don't do that, okay? The point is not to be like, I feel sick today. I feel sick, but today I'm going to feel less sick. I feel sick, but today I'm going to feel better. Don't say that and then start trying to be like, oh my gosh, I got to figure out how to solve Lyme disease. Okay, what do I need to do? Because I need to feel better. That's not what you do, okay? It's a really cool thing that comes from being a really high level awakening is understanding that you don't force yourself to do things. You let it come. Now, you've been told all your life that that is not how that works, but When you get into a state where you just affirm with yourself, this is a painful, buying my truck is painful because I'm losing money, but this is going to be less of a mess than it is right now. I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea what that looked like. And I did not get on the phone and start harassing people and chewing people out. I sat back. I affirmed with myself, it's going to look better than it is. Okay, now this is what happened. Both of the dealers that I'm working with that are now like frustrated with each other, I'm frustrated with them, they're frustrated with me, we're all frustrated with each other. I let it go. I sent a very nice text to the one dealer and I said, I'm ready to come in. I'm so excited. I started feeding positive energy into this situation. I'm so excited. But some of you are like, but wait, but you just lost all this money. You're right. But I'm going to create less of a mess by putting positive energy into this. So I'm so excited. Get it ready for me. Please let me know. Blah, 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 blah. So I ask him what my payment is, right? And he tells me, and of course, like I about fall out of my chair because, it's a lot. I'm not going to lie, guys. This is literally like the truck of my dreams. Like there is nothing more that I could have gotten with this thing. It is that amazing. The only thing it doesn't do is cook dinner, but I am so in love with it. It will be my forever truck. And I'll tell you what, there were some moments where I had to let go of some guilt because I was like, you can't spend that much money on yourself. And I was like, the hell I can't. I do deserve it. I'm 41 years old. I've been to school 300 times. I have 7 degrees. I have a great job and I do deserve to drive this. And so I will. Okay, there. But as I go, I get the payment. I'm like, okay. I go to the dealership. I bring in positive energy, right? I don't want to walk in there like all pissed off and pissy with everybody. And I walked in there and I talked to the dealer like nothing had happened. All is well. And guess what happened? Even though before in previous conversations, there was no give whatsoever. They were like, nope, you want it, you take it because we're going to sell it to somebody else. And I was like, okay. When I walked in, do you know what happened? He was like, oh, well, we decided to do this for you and take this off and we can be a little flexible with this. And it was a whole different atmosphere. So suddenly I'm just sitting there and I'm like, okay, because they're making that gap between the money that I thought I was saving and the money that I didn't save smaller and smaller. So I was like, that's cool. And then when I went in to sign the paperwork, they had forgotten to include it that I had given a deposit for my build. And so he's like, oh, and your payment's going to be less because we forgot to put your deposit in there. And so I'm like, ooh, right. That feels better too, because now I'm not planning on as big of a payment. I got a beautiful interest rate. And then after I left and I started talking to the other dealer that was involved with me trading my truck in, he was like, hey, I feel bad about this too. And so this is what I'm going to do for you. And I'm going to do this and that and this. And I lessened the gap again. So moral of the story is I didn't walk out of there exactly where I was or exactly where I thought I was going to be because something happened. But what did I do? I created some positive out of a negative situation. And when you figure out how to master that, you will own the world because you will never, ever live in a space where nothing bad happens to you. Impossible. But instead, you put some positive into the situation so that it is not as big of what I just like to call, it's not as messy as it was before. And that, my friends, is how you can overcome things. Okay, it's all about the mindset, right? Because I could have gone in there ripping and roaring and yelling at everybody and I could have lost my truck and I would have just created and self-sabotaged because we're really good at that too. All right. So guys, don't forget the easiest way to see my videos is to go to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. It is Honest Sassy Mama. That's my YouTube channel. If you want to message me, I'll send you the link. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about this really cool thing. Do you guys know that I've been talking about doing my own practitioner course with all of the stuff that I found? And so one of the great things that I figured out to go along with this that I'm really excited about is I'm going to be in it. I've already created it. I just don't have anyone in it yet. It's a soul-centered practitioners group, and it's going to just be for people. You don't have to be a certified practitioner like working on people making money, But if you want to be able to heal yourself and the people in your family, then it will totally be for you. And it's going to have a weekly group clearing. So I'm going to do a group clearing call where basically we tap into energies to release things, and you just have in your mind what your highest level intent is. So if that is pain release, whatever that is, and then when I do the clearing, your energy and my energy align, and we end up clearing things for multiple people at once that are really beneficial. Then you're also going to get access to me for what I call, I don't really like the word medical medium, so I might use the word like medical intuitiveness. So that way, if you're stuck on something, right? Because one of the reasons why people don't dare do this is because they're fearful. Like, what if I can't do it? If you're stuck on something and you're like, I'm trying to work on my Uncle Joe and he has this like pain in his shoulder, and no matter what I try, I just can't help him, then you have access to me where you can come and say, hey, Amy, and I call this, I don't know what I call this yet. It's like a carbon copy type thing, where when you connect to a person, your subconscious downloads that energy, and I can still see it without needing to be attached to that other person. It's kind of like your subconscious knows what it needs to do, but now I'm helping you to help them. It's really cool. And then we're going to do just lots of uplifting stuff. And then the other cool thing about it is when you get into this group, if you purchase my practitioner program, which most of, just so you know, like having been in this business, like guys, practitioner programs range anywhere from, I don't know, $2,000 to 15 grand. I'm not doing that. So I want this to be affordable for everybody. So when I release it, I will do it at a special price so that you can do this for yourselves. I don't want it to be at this higher level reach where people just are like, I can't do it. Anyway, it's going to be fantastic. So I can't wait for that to come out. Lisa, right now, I don't know about a podcast because this is where my passion, this is where my energy goes. I have to do this. And then once the practitioner group gets up and going, then potentially. So there we go. Okay, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night. And I will talk soon. Message me if you want the link to the YouTube, and I will send it directly to you so you can make sure that you find it. Okay, guys, have a beautiful night, and thanks for hopping